Oh, Hunter. You're back. Were you able to gather all the supplies you wanted? Oh, what were you after again? Adamant seed. Ah, for more armor. I get it. I can't imagine it be easy. I can hear how restless the monsters are below. It's all thanks to the wind picking up, causing another sandstorm. But we both know that's not the real reason they're worked up. What do you mean you don't know? Isn't that the whole reason you went to go look for those seeds? You were just running low. But you seriously don't know. You really need to start paying attention more in the meetings. These things are important, you know? You know Rey Dau? Apparently there's a new variant. They're calling him Arc-Tempered. To me it just sounds like he's extremely mad. Which he is. And apparently he's super strong too. I don't know. When we fought Rey Dau originally, I really thought he was strong. I struggled a lot against him. I thought insect glaives were supposed to be good for fighting against flying wyverns. But apparently not this one. You had no problem with him, right? I remember you saving me once or twice. Thanks for catching his aggro back then. Hopefully I can count on you when we go do it again. Yes, I was planning on reading the monster guide again. I've told you many times, but it's just comforting, you know? Hey, how about while you sort out all of your seeds and make potions and whatever, how about I go through the guide about Rey Dau again? He's going to be a lot stronger and really focusing on what we know he's weak against. I think might be beneficial for us. Or at least me, in the long run. I don't want to hold you back, Hunter. We both came into this profession because we knew it was right, what we had to do. After us teaming up and us getting to go on these adventures, discovering new monsters, has been thrilling. But I feel like you always have to make up for my shortcomings. Thank you for the kind words, Hunter. You're boosting up my confidence now. Where is Rey Dau again? Oh man, we fought him. I don't think it was early on in our adventure, but it still feels so long ago. Especially now that we're fighting a different variation. Ah, wait. Here he is. Starting off, Rey Dau is a flying wyvern. Duh. And he resides mostly in the Windward Plains. He's the alpha of the area. And he's known for using thunder-based attacks. Rey Dau are extremely hostile. And just like any alpha, they are the primary objective of most of our hunts. The first thing OmO has to say about him is right here. I almost couldn't find it for a second. She wrote in such tiny writing. I wonder why. She'll probably fix it later. Especially after this hunt, she'll realize the mistake she made. Let's see, she writes, the flying wyvern that reigns supreme over the Windward Plains ecosystem has adapted to the sand tide when it most frequently appears, and is able to store, amplify, and discharge the storm's heavy lightning to lethal effect. Rey Dau is highly territorial and will attack any and all intruders on sight. The fulgurite against its carapace emits a sound that puts every monster in the region on guard. Yeah. The sand tide. This one storm is obviously the beginning of it. You can tell he's the reason it's starting. I didn't think it'd be so soon. It feels like the sand tide just always comes in so fast. And it doesn't help that with him flying around, all the monsters are worked up. It makes gathering harder, you know. Was gathering really that hard? You had to fight the Chupacabra, the Blahara, and the Cumatrice all in one go? Man, that must have been difficult. Tell me, did you win? Or did you run away? You ran away? Because you didn't want to lose your supplies. I'm pretty sure you would have been fine. Your palico would have found anything that you lost. I never see you worry about the big monsters. But when it comes to your resources, it's almost like you're a bit of a hoarder. Anyways, you got me distracted. Let's go into the combat info. Like we mentioned earlier, he's a thunder damage monster, which means he induces thunder blight. Not many monsters do thunder, so if I remember correctly, thunder blight makes us more susceptible to being stunned by its attacks. It's been such a long time since we fought a monster that can do thunder blight. Hopefully I don't get hit too much, like I have a habit of doing. Here it says it's weak to water and ice, and heckin' resistant to thunder. Who would have guessed? And again, OmO, being the sweetie that she is, always writes my Kinsect extracts for me. But it's pretty similar with all wyverns. To get my red extract, it's usually in the head, white in the wings, and orange on the main body. OmO's monster tips. Looks like she started naming them after a while. She says that when Rey Dau's wing or tail touches the ground while charged, it causes a reaction that produces a mantle of fulgurite. Not only does this widen the appendage's attack range, but it also increases the monster's charging capacity. So make a point of breaking these parts. Its head also might be vulnerable after a discharged attack. She also noticed that its head can be vulnerable sometimes after a discharge attack, and she advises us to bring thunder-resistant armor and water-based weaponry. It's interesting because in the more detailed information that we've gathered from fighting a regular Rey Dau multiple times, she says that every single part of the Rey Dau's body is weak to ice and water equally, except the head. Apparently, Rey Dau's head is more weak to ice than it is water. I wonder if that's because of its discharge attack. Maybe ice affects it more? I'm not too sure. So I'll leave the ice weapon to you, and I'll bring the water one. My weapon's not too good at breaking the head pieces on any monster. Unless they're all fleshy, of course. Does Rey Dau have any special attacks? Yes, he does. It says he has a weak roar, which can temporarily immobilize us. Jeez. Not only can he stun us, but also immobilize us. He is quite a frustrating monster, but luckily I know we have some earplugs packed away. And again, it says he has thunder blight. OmO wrote in a tiny note that evading repeatedly removes the condition, so that's good. Which is good for you with how much you like to roll around on the ground. Other resistances that I'll probably use would be Nilberry, and of course our armor will be with thunder resistance and blight resistance. At least yours better have it. I have a feeling you're going to be taking a lot more attacks than me. Oh, and don't forget to change your Palico's equipment too. We don't want our buddies getting harmed. Okay, onto his moveset. First one up is his arm sweep. He just swings his arms with electricity. Next is his charge smash. Apparently he raises up to stand on its hind legs, and then it raises its left or right forearm above its head to prepare for an overhead attack. Usually this attack is directly aimed at whoever's in front of it, and it can cause electricity to burst on the ground. However, he usually gets stuck when he does this, making him very vulnerable for us to hit him. Maybe we can try to trigger that every now and then. It'll make the hunt go faster. Maybe we'll even get an award for killing him the fastest. Next is the charged tail slam. It's very similar to a regular tail slam, it seems, but of course it has his thunder element applied to it. Next is his flying attacks, which I hate. First one is the dive to arm attack. He likes to fly upwards, then turn around and slam its arm into the ground. This move can also leave him getting stuck, but I don't think I've seen him get stuck a lot of times when he's done this one. He also has an earth slice, which plants its arm on the ground and slices forward. Next is the earth slice. What an interesting name. Anyways, it's where he plants its arm on the ground and then slices forward to unleash a burst of electricity. This attack leaves a trail of electricity on the ground, and he does this while flying and on the ground, apparently. He also has a horn thrust, and I've been hit by this one too many times. It's where he pulls back his body, pauses briefly, and then rushes forward with the thrust of its sharp horns on its head. Man, they really hurt too. Next is his famous lightning burst. This point, we should know by now that he will start to glow and energy sounds will crackle from his body. And then he'll release a giant thunderous burst from its mouth. And I'm afraid that with this new arc tempered, it might just instantly card us. To attain his lightning burst, he has to do a lightning charge where it will start glowing and collect the lightning from the surrounding area. And then everything else seems to be for a simple wyvern. A normal tail slam, a tail sweep, a tail swipe, and then his normal thrust attack. Seems pretty simple, but again, we have to be cautious. We may have fought the regular Rey Dau multiple times, but with this arc-tempered version, there's no expecting how dangerous or powered up it may be. We'll get to these last two quickly. Ailments, and what's effective against him. It's not surprising that paralysis and stun aren't really that effective on him. I know it can be done, but for a thunder monster who can do the same thing to us, he also seems to not be paralyzed for a long time. However, at least normal Rey Dau is super easy to exhaust. Use Blast, Blight on, Sleep, and Poison. Looks like it might be time for me to bring out my Sleep or Blast Bright insect out. I know they'd love to get out on the field. And lastly, we have effective items we can use against it. Mainly traps. Apparently, flash pods are good against him, which is kind of interesting for a lightning monster to be phased by flashing bright lights. Flash bugs must hit different, I guess. However, sonic bombs and shock traps do not work. Interesting. Our two things that sound like thunder and lightning don't work against a thunder and lightning wyvern. But what does work is the pitfall trap. I say we have to use this to our advantage as much as we can. While he does fly a lot, when we get him on the ground, he's basically stuck there, especially if he's exhausted or he used his discharge attack. Looks like that's it. See? Don't you feel at least a little bit more prepared now? You only feel more prepared because of all the potions you just made. You really are something, Hunter. Well, even if it doesn't make you feel any better, I definitely do. And it definitely made me feel a little bit sleepy. We're definitely gonna need to get some good rest before this hunt. So I think I'm gonna go hit the sack. And you better too soon. Alma said she's gonna make us breakfast tomorrow, just to make sure that we don't forget to eat. Aren't you excited? I know how much you love Alma's cooking. Either way, good night, Hunter. Don't stay up too late.